Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the November 2021 meeting of the Austin Ukulele Society. And once again, look who we have here. Jen and I are able to be together.
Yay! Because we know that ukulele makes the world go around, and we wanted to make sure you saw our new shirts.
That's right. So we've got Jen here, and Jen will be on the chat. In fact, we also have our good friend who has become kind of our unofficial mascot of the Austin Ukulele Society. We have Chico, who's snoozing down there.
Sorry.
I think your computer's
I know.
on. Hold on one second. But we've got Chico here who's snoozing. He's a good little guy, and he will be observing us from behind. Maybe he'll join us in on a song once we get to singing. But Jen and I are really happy to be here together tonight, and we are very glad that you are out there as well. Jen is going to be managing the live chat this evening, as she always does brilliantly. So if you are a first-timer, let us know. Give us a shout out, say hi to Jen on the chat. Let us know where you're watching us from. That's always a lot of fun. And also when we start getting into the songs and the tutorial part of the program, if you have a question, don't hesitate to put that question in the chat. Jen is going to be like 10 feet away from me, and she'll be able to transmit that question to me, and I can answer it pretty much in real time, with the exception of the little bit of lag. So really enjoy it when I've got Jen here.
Yeah.
And really glad we are here together because we are premiering, and we'll be talking a little bit more about this in a bit, we are premiering our brand new 2021 edition Austin Ukulele Society t-shirts. For those of you who may be new to the Ukulele Society, every fall we come out with a new t-shirt design, and the sales of the t-shirts are one of the ways that we are able to generate a little bit of revenue that helps us defray our operating costs. And as you can see this year, I'm going to pop up a thing. It's going to cover Jen just a little bit. I don't mean to be rude to her, but the idea was that, we've always done sort of a Texas, maybe a Western theme for our t-shirts. Oh, Jen's going to take off. Okay, Jen, thank you. Let's see, I'll scooch over. All right. Well, we've generally done with our t-shirts in the past an Austin specific or a Western or a Texas. But as we were brainstorming ideas for this year, this will be of course we started doing live streams last April, I think was our very first one. But this will be the year that all of our gatherings, all of our meetings will be live and online. And we have made so many friends in different places around the world that we thought, hey, you know what? We should use that theme as our artwork for this year's t-shirt. So our theme for this year's t-shirt is Austin Ukulele Around the World. So we have the ukulele taking off from Austin, traveling around the globe. I wish we could have included more countries in this. We do have kind of our top 4 or 5 countries, of course, the US, Canada, the United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand. Those are always among our top 5 in terms of our viewership. I wish we could have included more because Germany is always in there, the Czech Republic. We have friends in the Philippines, friends in India. In fact, we did come up with one design that was a flat sort of map, but it just didn't have the dynamic feel to it. So here we have a globe, again, with the ukulele traveling around the globe. You can even see, you have to look closely, but there's actually here below the A in Austin, we've got the Hawaiian Islands represented, and even off the coast of Morocco, we have Madeira Island, in honor of those Madeiran immigrants who traveled to Hawaii in the 1870s and brought their folk instrument, the machete, with them to Hawaii, which then was embraced by the population and became the instrument we know and love today, the ukulele. So again, we tried to create this sort of world sense of us reaching out to friends now all around the globe. So these are available now. If you are interested in purchasing one, they are $20. And you can send a note to, let me just bring up our email address. So you can send an email to austinukes@gmail.com and express your interest in purchasing. We have them in a men's unisex short sleeve, long sleeve, women's and youth sizes. They're in navy blue with this multicolor piece of art on the front. And I hope you like it. Lida worked very, very hard. She's always our artist who creates all of the artwork for all of our t-shirts and all of our designs. So very grateful for her work on that, and really excited to have this new design for 2021. As we begin our, I guess we're heading towards our, what will be our 12th year of existence. Is that right? No, our 11th, excuse me. We'll be heading into our 11th year once we get past the new year. So I hope you enjoy it. In fact, I can do a close-up this way even. So here we go. You can see on the strum cam, there is my broad, manly chest with the artwork, with the artwork across it. There we go. All right. So there's that. A few other things I wanted to bring up before we get started, just a few other news items. Again, we already met Jen this evening, and Jen, of course, has flown back over to her workstation to begin responding to greetings on the chat. So don't forget to give a shout out to Jen and tell her thanks for all that she does, and let us know where you're watching from. If you have questions, go ahead and ask them there. As we've been doing all along since we started doing these virtual meetings, would like to ask you to take a selfie, take a snapshot of yourself, maybe wearing, I didn't put it on, but I actually have my Santa hat here. But if you have Christmas garb, to put that on and get a picture of yourself, have someone in your home take a picture of you, either watching the live stream or just holding onto your uke. You can send that to us, send that photo to us at austinukes@gmail.com. And what Jen and I will do is we download those and we create a collage of those photographs. We post them on our website, we post them on our Facebook page, and I like it because I don't get to have the interaction with you all. So it's really nice to see all of your smiling faces and know for sure that you're really out there. And it's fun to make it seem like it's actually a real live meeting. So please consider doing that, taking a snapshot with or without Christmas garb, holiday garb, whatever. Send a photo into us so we know who you are and we can see you out there. Again, also, as we have also always done since we started doing these virtual online meetings, we've been doing a monthly group video project. And the way that works is about a week prior to each one of our live streams, I create a video where I do a demonstration of the arrangement of the featured song of the month. And so, for example, for this month's, our holiday medley, I created a demo video which was posted on YouTube and was shared to our Facebook page, the Uke Society's Facebook page. And what we do is have folks who volunteer to play along with that demo video and send in a clip of them playing, and then our good friends Paul Butler and Marty Porter put those audio files and those video files together into a virtual group performance of the featured song. And they just keep getting better and better. Marty and Paul just do an outstanding job. And in fact, tonight, after we play our kind of wrap-up closing song, On the Road Again, we'll be doing the world premiere of our group performance video of last month's featured song, which was Fleetwood Mac's Rhiannon. So please stick around for that because it is so good. You guys are just amazing. I think we had more contributors on this video than any one that we've had previously, and gosh, it just sounds so fantastic. So please do stick around for the world premiere of the group video for Fleetwood Mac's Rhiannon, which was our song last month. And do consider participating in this month's group video, which will be our holiday medley of I'll Be Home for Christmas and No Place Like Home for the Holidays. What you need to do in order to join is send an email, again, to this address. Send an email to austinukes@gmail.com. And in about a week, probably next Thursday, you will get an email from Jen with instructions on how to proceed to prepare your clip. So there'll be a link to a location where you will see a version of my demo video, which has the lyrics and the chords and counters and everything all laid out. So all you have to do is just sort of follow along what's on the screen. You listen to it with headphones and turn on your camera, record yourself. It'll have instructions on how to do that, our preferred settings, some advice on how you might want to set up, and where to upload your final clip. And then we'll premiere that video at our next meeting in December. So do consider doing that. It's a lot of fun, and I'll tell you, there is no better way to hone your playing skills there's no better way than to play in front of other people, and this is the next best thing, is playing in front of a camera. In fact, from my perspective, there's almost no difference between playing in front of an audience and just playing in front of a camera in front of you. It's always a little bit intimidating, but my hat's off to the folks who have done this. I know it takes a lot of courage, and I know it takes a lot of effort to do it. So thank you so much for the work you've done. It just looks so great and sounds fantastic. So we'll talk more about that before we get to the end, just as a little reminder about the next meeting, which I mentioned. So our next meeting will again be a virtual online meeting. It'll be a little bit different, as our December meetings usually are. All of our other meetings, we take a little bit different approach, I think, than many ukulele groups, where the idea is to play through a lot of different songs. We don't really do that. We play a warm-up song, we play a cool-down song at the end, but in between, my focus is looking at a single song or a single arrangement and really doing a deep dive on that song, really looking at what are the chords, what are the strums, what are the chord progressions, how do they fit together, to really get a very deep level understanding of that song and how it fits together. And so that, again, rather than playing a lot of different songs, we drill down on a single song. And that's what we'll be doing this evening on that holiday medley. Of course, I always try to do things in such a way that not only do you learn skills on how to play that particular song, but that you also learn skills that you can take on to other songs. So in addition to learning how to play at a very deep level the song we're going to cover, you'll also walk away with skills that you can bring to bear on other songs in your repertoire. Now, next month's live stream, which will be 4 weeks from tonight on December 9th, is going to be more of a traditional sing-along. We've been doing Christmas songs every single year since we've been around, since 2011. And so we've got a very nice collection of holiday songs. And what we're going to do is a good old-fashioned sing-along. We did this last December as well, and it was a lot of fun. I will be putting together, it's not out there just yet, but it will be soon, a songbook in which I compile together all of the arrangements for all of the holiday songs we've done since the beginning. And on that, on our music library page at austinukulelesociety.com, I'll have links to the songs individually, as well as a link to the compiled songbook, and links to all of the videos in which we're playing those songs. So you can practice up and play along, and then when we get together on the 9th, we'll do, like I said, a good old-fashioned play along and go through all of those holiday songs. So it will be a lot of fun. The meeting after that, the January meeting, which will be on January 13th, 2022, we are planning on meeting live in person again for the first time in almost 2 years. That's our plan. That's our goal. I'm really excited about it. We're going to do a festive song that's appropriate for a reunion. So please do, if you're in the Austin area or plan to be in the Austin area, the second Thursday of January, our plan is on that Thursday, January 13th, that we will meet live and in person in our regular place, the Memorial United Methodist Church up in Central Austin near 290 and I-35. But please do watch our website. If you subscribe or follow our Facebook page, you'll see those announcements for that, as well as the song we'll feature during that meeting. We'll also plan, for those of you who are not in the Austin area, we've gotten many requests from folks who really want us to continue doing these online meetings, and I love doing it. It's almost like a one-on-one type lesson. So, what's that? Oh, good. Oh, that's okay. Jen was just passing a question on to me. So we've gotten a lot of requests for folks who are outside of the Austin area, outside of Texas, outside of the United States, to continue doing this. And our plan is to continue doing these kinds of online meetings. We're going to plan another one sometime early in the year. We don't have a date yet, but please stay tuned, and we will have a date for when we plan to do our next kind of online meeting for those folks who can't be here locally. I love doing it, and I'm so happy for all the friends we've made all around the world. So we'll continue doing that. So if you're not a subscriber to our YouTube channel, please do subscribe, because that's where you will get the first word of when we have scheduled a live stream. If you don't follow our website or don't follow our Facebook page, please do, because again, that's where we'll be making all of the announcements about the January meeting and our next online meeting. So please do check that out. One last really quick announcement, and that has to do with the ukulele that I'm holding right in my hand. There is an organization, a company here in town, Journey Instruments, that makes these wonderful travel ukuleles. And I've been very grateful. Our friend Joey at Journey Instruments has been very kind to loan me one of these instruments. And I think Joey might be on the live chat, Jen is telling me. Been very kind to have loaned me this instrument. Now for nearly a year I've had this, and you've probably seen me playing it during a lot of my demo videos and a lot of these live streams. And they are going to be having a Black Friday sale. So I want to share with you early, so you guys will have the first crack at this. So if you go to journeyinstruments.com and use this coupon code BF Ukulele, Black Friday Ukulele, you will get 40% off their ukuleles and their bags, their gig bags. So this is a sale that will be running from the 12th of November through the 30th of November. But for us, we're actually getting a preview. So that coupon code will actually work tonight if you wanted to place your order early. And I did notice that a couple of the models were out of stock. So this coupon code is available right now. Don't go now. Wait till we're done with our meeting. But if you go to Journey Instruments and use this coupon code BF Ukulele, Black Friday Ukulele, you'll get 40% off ukuleles and their gig bags, their cases, which are really nice. And I have to say, I've really enjoyed playing this instrument. It's been a lot of fun, and I do want to be clear. This is not an affiliate type situation with them. None of the money that you spend, if you purchase one of their ukuleles or one of the cases, none of that money comes to the Austin Ukulele Society. We're simply doing this because this is an Austin-based business, and we want to help them be successful. And honestly, I like the product, and I wouldn't be playing it during our meetings. I wouldn't be playing it in our demos if I didn't think it was a fun instrument and really nice to play. So I'll be playing it tonight as well, but please do check that out. They've got some really nice things to choose from. And if you're out there watching and you're someone who has actually purchased a Journey instrument or a gig bag, chime in, let us know what you think. So I think that's all the announcements I have for this evening. And let's make some music together. Let's play some songs. As we always have, let me jump over to our multicam view. So we've got the bob cam here, so you can see all of this, and you can see me strumming. We've also got the strum cam here. In fact, let me just zoom in just a little bit so that, yeah, we're a little bit tighter in. And then we also have over here, we will have the chords and the lyrics that you can play along with. So we've got the whole package here. In fact, when we get into the tutorial part, I can zoom in where you can see what my left and right hands are doing. But Three Little Birds is the song that we've warmed up with for every one of our meetings since the very first meeting back in January of 2011. We've always played this song to warm up. It's just a terrific song, 4-chord song to limber up our fingers, loosen up our voices, and remind ourselves that every little thing is going to be all right. So let's jump over. Let me make sure I've got this set up for Lida. And the way we'll begin this song is we're just going to strum on C. We're going to strum on the C chord using this strum pattern, which sounds like this. Down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up. So join in on C, and I'll count us in when we're all ready. Go ahead and change. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. 3 little birds sit by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true, singing, this is my message to you. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Let's do the verse again. Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. 3 little birds sit by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true, singing, this is my message to you. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Chorus one more time. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. 'Cause every little thing, yes indeed, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. One more time. 'Cause every little thing, a little slower, is gonna be alright. Yeah, very nice. Let's have a round of applause. Very nice. Well done. I can tell. I can't see you or hear you, but I get the feeling. I get the vibe. So, nicely done. All right. Let's jump back over to our main view, and I will cue up our next song. This takes just a second. Everything going okay? Good? All right. Cool. All right. So here we go. All right. A holiday medley of I'll Be Home for Christmas and There's No Place Like Home for the Holidays. You know, we've done many Christmas medleys over the years. You know, some songs just seem to go together, and sometimes the songs themselves are relatively short. And so it's nice to kind of bring them together thematically. And these two songs, because they both concern themselves with the themes of home and being with family during the holiday season, I just thought these were just a really natural fit to go together. And particularly, I'll Be Home for Christmas. This song was written in 1943, specifically with servicemen and women in mind. So it seems particularly appropriate to include that song in our medley on, in the U.S., it's Veterans Day, where we honor all of the veterans and all of the folks who have served in the armed services. So again, this is a song that was written and recorded and released by Bing Crosby in 1943 in a way to honor all of the servicemen and women who were so far away from home during that time for Christmas in 1943. So it fits together very nicely with this other song that came out 11 years later in 1954. Perry Como had a really big hit with this in 54. In fact, it was such a big hit for him that he re-recorded it in 1959 and had another hit with it. So the 1954 version was recorded in the key of C, which is what we'll be doing it in. Interestingly, the 59 version was recorded in B flat, just a little bit lower, which actually I like that version better. It seems to fit with his voice a little bit more nicely. But we're going to be doing I'll Be Home for Christmas in G, which is the key Bing Crosby recorded his version in 1943, and Home for the Holidays in C, which is the key that Perry Como used in his 1954 recording. So as you can guess, we'll be doing a modulation from C to the key of G, and then from G back to C again in what I hope will be a very graceful transition from one key to the next. You will be the judge. So let's move down one page. So these are all the chords that are in this medley. Now, don't freak out. Don't panic by the number of chords that you see in front of you. It is a lot of chords. There are 17 of them. I have simplified the arrangement where I've eliminated a bunch of other chords. There were actually more, but I've eliminated a bunch of the chords. And in fact, some of the chords actually have the same fingering or lack of fingering. For example, C6 and A minor 7, depending on the context, it's appropriate to call them different names, but they are both played with no fingers at all. A E minor 7 and a C6, a G6, depending on the context, appropriate to call them a different name. But again, they are played the same. And I think that you will find that as we go through the song and take a look at the way these chords are chained together in progressions, I think you will find that they flow together in a very logical way that makes it actually easy to transition from one to the next to the next. Or so I hope to convince you when we get to the tutorial part of this evening shortly. So again, don't panic on this. We're going to dive into this in detail. So what I'd like to do, as we usually do, is I will go through the arrangement one time. I'll just play along. Of course, if you want to join in, you're welcome to. If you've already seen my demo, which is on my YouTube channel, you can look up Bob Guz and take a look at that. Again, don't do it now. But if you want to take a look at it, you can play along with it. But I'm just going to play through it right now. Now, I've made a little bit of change for purposes of this meeting. For those of you who've seen the chart, who have listened to the demo, you know that there is a little picking intro. I do have it later in the presentation if we have time to get to it, but for purposes of this demonstration, I'm just going to strum the chords, as I figure that's what most folks will do. If we have time, we'll cover the picking part, but because there are so many chords and so many different ways of kind of tackling the transitions between them, I didn't want to get distracted into the tablature and the picking part. So I hope you'll understand on that. So we're just going to play through this real quickly. I may go through this at a little bit brisker tempo. We'll slow it down when we get to the place where we're going to play this together. Okay, so here we go. Ready? So 1, 2, a 1, 2, ready, and. Here we go. I'll be home for Christmas. You can plan on me. Please have snow and mistletoe and presents on the tree. Christmas Eve will find me where the love light gleams. I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dream. Oh, there's no place like home for the holidays, 'cause no matter how far away you roam, if you pine for the sunshine of a friendly gaze, for the holidays you can't be home sweet home. I met a man who lives in Tennessee, and he was heading for Pennsylvania and some homemade pumpkin pie. From Pennsylvania, folks are traveling down to Dixie's sunny shore. From Atlantic to Pacific, gee, the traffic is terrific. Oh, there's no place like home for the holidays, 'cause no matter how far away you roam, if you want to be happy in a million ways, for the holidays you can't be home sweet home. For the holidays you can't be home sweet home. I'll be home for Christmas. You can plan on me. I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dreams, if only in my dreams. Woohoo! So that's the song. Now you know it. All right. So I hope you like that. I know it always seems early that we do our holiday songs in, early mid-November, but to be honest, now is the time to start practicing your Christmas and holiday repertoire so that you're all practiced up and ready to go after Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is only 2 weeks from today in the United States, so now's the time to start getting yourself practiced up. So that's why I always introduce these Christmas songs at this time. All right, so let's do our breakdown. Yes?
The mic volume might be a little too high.
The mic volume a little too high, okay? Am I being too loud? I'm going to stand just for a bit. Okay, I've turned down the gain on the microphone just a bit, so has that been a comment?
That was from Paul.
Okay,
You already thought so.
all right.
Yeah.
Let me just adjust it a little further. Just to verify that I do have pants on during these things, so now you've seen that empirically to verify. All right, so a couple of rhythm guides to be aware of. One is this little apostrophe. You know, we always talk about this. It's something to help us keep synchronized in terms of our vocals. So this is a vocal rest. In other words, we're strumming, but we're taking just a brief beat pause before we sing. Okay, so just to give you an example of that, if we look at the second lyric, the second line of I'll Be Home for Christmas, there's kind of a double pause there. And what that sounds like is this. If you would advance it to one slide when I get there. So, I'll be home for Christmas. You can plan on me. Change. Rest, rest. Please have snow and mist. So you get the idea that we're strumming that A minor 7. Rest, rest, please have snow. So it's 2 beats, and we actually come in singing on the 3rd beat of that measure. So that's what the purpose of that is. We also have this thing I call a hold, which is a break from the strumming pattern. And what we're doing there is we're going to strum the chord and let those notes ring out. So rather than strumming, so I'm going to strum on a G chord. And then at some point, we do one strum and we let those notes just ring out. And then we'll resume strumming when there's a little notation in the chart that says to start strumming again. But we're letting those notes just ring out. Want to contrast that with a stop where, again, we're doing one strum of the chord, but rather than letting the notes ring out, we're going to mute the strings. You can mute the strings with your palm, with the side of your hand, with your forearm, whatever makes sense for you to mute with. So it's something like this. So hold, let those notes ring out, and a stop. And you probably heard when I did that little demo that there's a couple of places where we do a hold and a stop. So we'll cover that when we get to that spot. Was there a question? No. Okay. All right. So let's pass through this and let's talk about the strum for this song. This is a strum that we've used many, many times. You know, it's kind of funny because back in the day, before we started doing these live meetings, I never really used this island strum very, very much at all. Not that I avoided it, but it wasn't something that I kind of turned to. But I find myself using it more and more as time goes on. So here we have it in this medley. And again, what we have here, as you can see in the little diagram here, is a down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, up. So again, for those who are new to seeing this kind of a illustration, you'll notice that my hand is in constant motion. My hand is moving up and down without interruption. What's changing is whether or not my fingers, in my case, might be your thumb if you're a thumb player, but for me it's the nails on my right finger are coming in contact with the strings or not. So where the strokes are grayed out, I'm not touching the strings at those points, and where they're not grayed out, I am. So down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up. Okay? If that's a little challenging, and I do understand on this song where we have a lot of chord changes, in fact, the chords change with almost every 4 beats, that if you want to simplify that a bit and play one strum per measure, perfectly fine. So that instead of a down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, just doing a 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. That's totally fine. Or you could play the first 2 beats. You could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just, again, to push yourself to whatever is your comfort level. But if you're new to the ukulele or new to some of these chords, you may feel like you need a little bit of time to get your fretting hand in the proper position. And so again, perfectly fine to simply do one strum, get your fingers in the right spot, strum the next chord, get your fingers in the right spot, do one strum on the next. It's perfectly fine to do that. In fact, if we were together in person in a big group, it sounds really nice when you have some people playing the full strum and others doing just, for example, the downbeat on the one. So again, never worry about simplifying the strums if you feel like you need a little bit of extra time to get your hands in the right place for the next chord. There are a couple of spots in the song, they're not many, but there are a couple of spots in the song where the chord change happens in the middle of the 4-beat measure. So as I mentioned earlier, in almost every case, every chord is played for a full 4 beats, that full strum pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then changes with each 4. But there are a couple of spots where there are 2 chords that share the 4-beat measure, 2 beats per chord. Now there's one exception to that, but I'm gonna stick a pin in that and we'll talk about it later where it's a little bit different, but that's for a discussion in a few minutes. But for the most part, when there are 2 chords sharing the 4-beat pattern, basically what we're doing is repeating the pattern as we switch to the new chord. So instead of down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, it becomes down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up. So we're changing up. So for example, there's a spot in which we go from that A minor 7 and open to a D7, and it's 2 beats per chord. So it would be something like this. Down, down, up, down, down, up. Down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. Okay? So hopefully that makes sense.
Is that a high G uke?
So there was a question, is this a high G uke? Yes, it is. So this is a G, C, E, A, high G uke. I do have a low G uke here handy if you want to hear one, but it's just out of reach, but I can grab it if you want to. But this is tuned in your standard re-entrant G, C, E, A tuning. Okay? So, and exactly, here's the exact example that I was referring to. Again, all the other chords that you see on this page are played for the full 4 beats of that strum pattern, that down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, except for that, in this case, that E minor 7 and the D minor. But anyway, I've demonstrated that. We'll move on to our chord progressions. So again, these are all the chords that appear in this song. I think it's fair to say the more complicated ones appear in I'll Be Home for Christmas. So the way I've kind of organized these chord progression exercises, we get a little bit more difficult as we go along. So we start with, I think, the more familiar chords and then move into the more unfamiliar. But again, what I hope to show you at each step as we go along, where it's appropriate, I want to show you I don't know if trick is the right word, but a mnemonic or a way to approach navigating from one chord to the next that I think is useful and helpful to kind of smooth your way as you transition through the chords. So feel free to ask questions as we go along. So here's one that uses 2 chords. We've seen this many times. In fact, we saw this very same chord progression in 3 Little Birds. And so it's a really good kind of refresher to practice on. So what this is 4 beats on C, 4 on F, and then 4 on C and 4 on C. So it will sound like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. C, So let's do that together just a couple of times through. We'll just, circle back around when we get to the end and just go through it 2 or 3 times. So here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and. Start over again. C, F, and C. C. One more time. C, F, and C. Okay. And if I'm going too fast, please make a note in the chat because I can always slow down the pace at which we go through these. So if I am strumming too fast or passing through the chords too quickly, if the mic is still too loud, also let me know. All right, so our second chord progression, and this is the one in Home for the Holidays that immediately follows the chord progression we just did. We're going to go from a C for 4 beats to an A7, to a D7, and to a G7. So C, A7, D7, and G7. And we play that full 4-beat strum pattern on each one of these chords. Okay? So let's do that together, and I'll slow it down a little bit. So here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and C, A7, D7, G7. Let's do that again. Back to C, A7, D7, and G7. Back to C, A7, 2, 3, 4, D7, 2, 3, 4, G7. And one last time. C, A7, D7, G7. Yeah, great. And you may recognize that chord progression. It's kind of a classic chord progression in a lot of Tin Pan Alley era songs. That kind of. So you hear that in a lot of songs. So your efforts in learning this chord progression here in the key of C will be rewarded when you look at other songs, because you will see this again. Okay, so let's play those two things together. So the first chord progression followed by the second one, because they go together. So here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and C, F, C, C, A7, D7 to G7. Let's go back to the beginning. C, F, C, C again, C again, A7, D7, and G7. One more time. C, F, C. Second row C, A7, D7, and G7. Very good. All right. Moving on. So this is the exception that I mentioned earlier, that there's a spot where there are two chords that share the same 4-beat measure, but instead of being 2 and 2, it's 1 and 3. Okay? And this is the spot where the song goes, for example, kind of leading into it. If you want to be happy in a million ways, and then here, for, so C, for the holidays, you can't be home, sweet home. So that C is 1 beat, really short, with a stop. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. If that makes sense, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So let's play that together real slowly, okay? So it'll sound like this. It'll be 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and. Just go through that one time and stop and then kind of back up and go through it again. Okay, so here we go, and let's do it slow. So 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and C, G, G7, F, G7, 2, 3, 4, and C. Let's try that one more time. So 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and C, G7, G7, F, G7, and C. It just sounds really nice to have that, just kind of that punch of that D7, which, as a listener, you're so used to hearing changes either happening right on the 1 beat or on the 1 and the 3, and to just make it a little bit different where it almost is like that D7 jumps the gun and comes in a little early, just gives it a little bit of extra kick on that for the holidays. So that's why we're kind of implementing that change from our 2 and 2 to being a 1 and 3, just in that one spot. So let's play that in context. So here's how it is in the actual song itself. With the lyrics, it would go like this. If you want to be happy in a million ways, for the holidays, you can't be home sweet home. Okay, so let's try that together, these two lines, okay? So here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and C to F to C. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And to C. Let's try that one more time. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and C to F to C. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Well, it would help if I played the right chord. Let's try that again. I jumped the gun to D7 or G7. Here we go again. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and C, F to C. 1, 2, 3, 4, C. 2, 3, 4. All right, great. Thank you so much for your patience with my mistakes. That's how you know it's live. It's not edited out. This is the real deal. All right. So let's put all of the chord progressions that we've done so far, all three of them, together into a verse of No Place Like Home for the Holidays. So Lyda, if you could, there's just this slide and the one after it. That's all we need, just these two. Okay? So let's do this together. These are all the chords and all of the combinations of the chords for each verse of No Place Like Home for the Holidays. So here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and C, F to C. C again. One more time. C, A7, D7, G7. To C, F to C, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, C. Yeah, very good. Let's do that. Let's do that just one more time, okay? Oh, there's a couple questions? Okay, I love questions.
Sue asked C, D7, D7 strum a couple minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
Was asking just, I think, confirming that. Is that how it went? The C, D7, then D7 strum? Is that right?
I'm not sure.
C stop, D7, 3 strums.
Well, you can do it as 3 strums. The C, 2, 3, 4. I'm actually doing a ba-dum, da-dum. I'm just doing a little extra strum in there, but you certainly could. If I understand the questions, the question had to do with this measure that has a 1-beat C followed by a 3-beat D7. Now, I've put on there the counts. You certainly could play it, and if I understand your question right, Sue, the question was, can you play it as 1 strum with a stop on C and then 3 down strums on the D7? And the answer is yes, you certainly can. So for example, C, D7. Something like that, if that makes sense. The 1, 2, 3, 4. You certainly can do that. Now, I'm actually putting a couple of upstrums in there. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, G7, F, I'm doing a. So just a little up-down strum on the 3-4 count. It's not necessary, though, if you just want to play a single strum on there. I hope I've answered your question. If I didn't, please make a note in the chat. Was there another question?
I think it was the same.
Okay. All right. To me, this is one of those little chord transitions that makes a lot more sense when you're actually singing it than it does to look at it in isolation, if that makes sense. So let's see, let's move on. All right. So here we have the progression that is the bridge for No Place Like Home for the Holidays. And what we have here is an F for 4 beats, another F for 4 beats, F for 2, and D7 for 2. So again, we're not doing anything unusual here. We're just doing as we go to C. So F for 4, F for 4, F for 2 more, D7, and C. G7 for 4, another G7 for 4, then a C for 4, followed by a C7. Okay? And something I'd like to just show you that might be a help to you, a couple of different things. Let me zoom in. The transition, I'm just going to move my fingers out of the way here. The transition from the F to the D7. So of course you can, if you look at my fingers here, I'm in the F major position. I have my index finger on the 1st fret of my E string and my middle finger on the 2nd fret of my G string. So there's our F major. And from there, I could go like so into this D7 shape where I've kind of flipped my fingers around. So here I had the F, and here I have this D7. But I just want to show you another thing that you might try. If I play this as my F major, I can leave those 2 fingers in exactly that spot and not change them at all, and just drop my ring finger onto the 2nd fret of my E string. And that gets me my D7. So instead of doing this to this, which is a pretty big move, I'm going to do this to this, and then to C. F. I hope that makes sense. I think it's a very economical move because there's not a lot of movement of your fingers because all you're doing is dropping down your ring finger. Another way that you can approach that's a little more advanced for those who want to try it. I think I've mentioned this, that sometimes I like to play the F chord, not just with these 2 fingers, with my index finger and my middle finger, but also to drop my ring finger here on the 3rd fret of the A string, which gives me a C note. And the C note is a note in the F major chord. In fact, it's just an octave up from that one. And it just provides a slightly different feel for the F major chord. And what you can do is play that as your F major. I'm switching my index and middle finger around. I'm leaving this finger on the 3rd fret of the A string for my D7 because C is also a note that's in the D7 chord. And then to get to the C, I just lift up my other 2 fingers. So again, that move is So that's something that makes it very, I think, very easy to navigate from that D7. Again, F to D7 to C. Just a different way to approach it if that interested you. So we have this kind of traditional or. I kind of like that one just because I like having that C note ring out through those chord changes. So, question?
So back to the C stop. D7.
Okay.
Would it be 1 down strum and then 3 down strums?
So the question was, in that measure that has the C, it can be played as 1 strum on the C chord followed by 3 down strums on the D7, if I understood the question correctly. Yeah. Yes, you can play it that way. Absolutely. I like that bounciness of that G7 to the F. Okay, so let's play this section together. Again, keeping in mind those little notes of the F to D7 to C, okay? And this is the part where we sing, I met a man who lives in Tennessee, and he was heading for, etc., etc. So let's play this together. So here we go, a little bit slower. So 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and F, F, and F, D7, C, G7, another G7, C, C7. And if we continue it, we go into the second part of the bridge. So let's play that again together. So here we go. 1, 2, a 1, 2, ready, and F, F again, and F, D7, C, G7, G7, and C, C7. You know, as I think about it, as I was just listening to myself play, even here, where we have this F and D7 sharing a 4-beat measure, even there, it's perfectly fine to play that as 2 down strums on the F and 2 down strums on the D7. I was kind of playing it as a, or rather to C. But you could, and in fact I noticed I was almost doing it just then the last time we played it through. So kind of like that other measure where we play 1 strum on C and then 3 on D7, here we could just do 2 down strums F and 2 down strums on D7, and it actually works quite nicely. So if you didn't want to do the full strum in those changes, just a F, D7, and C. Question, yes.
Marty,
Love questions.
on that F D7C, would it work to use a 2-2-3 D7 shape?
A 2-2-3. Yes, Marty, if I understand your question correctly, I think you were asking about this D7 shape where I'm barring across the second fret and have a 3, the 3 note, the C rather, on the top string. And absolutely.
2-2-2-3.
Yeah, 2-2-2-3. That's I was reading your mind. So yes, you absolutely can. Again, I think that's kind of maybe an advanced move where again you're going from this F to this D7, which actually is kind of nice to get to the C. But yes yes is the answer to your question. You can play that. In fact, if you wanted to play it up here, you could play F, D7, C. Any place that you're comfortable playing it, but the arrangement of the chord D7 in that shape that you mentioned absolutely works here. Okay, so let's play through this one more time real quickly. This 2-line chord progression. So here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and F. F again. Here we go. F, F, D7, C. G7, G7, C, C7. Yeah, and you can, if you listened, I quite deliberately played just down strums on that split measure, the 2 and the 2, because actually I think that works quite well, and I would recommend using it for the other one, that's the 1 and 3. I think it would work really well in that context. All right, so here is sort of the end of the bridge, and this is the part where we do the from Atlantic to Pacific, gee, the traffic is terrific. So what this is 4 beats on the G. Then we've got 2 beats each on A minor and D7. And again, you can play them as, but I'm kind of liking now as I hear it, the A minor, D7, just doing down strums on those. And then we have a stop on the G7. Again, we're strumming that chord one time and then muting the strings. And then from there, we just drop the whole thing down 1 fret, right? So don't move your middle finger and your ring finger. What we're going to do from this G7 is just drop down 1 fret, keeping our fingers in the same spot, and then we go back to the G7. So it sounds like this. And I'm not going to play it as it's written here. I'm just going to play those chords. G7 to this B flat diminished and back to G7. So it's just kind of a slide. We're not lifting our middle finger and ring finger off the fretboard at all. We're just kind of sliding them down and then back. And the rhythm for this is stop, again, stop, stop, or it's stop, hold, stop, stop. And that's to keep time with the lyrics. And again, this is probably one of those things that's easier to play when you are singing it than it is to play it alone in isolation. Because what you're doing here is, gee, the traffic is terrific. So that riffic is on that last box with the 2 G7 stops. Gee, the traffic is terrific, where we have those 2 stops. Make sense?
Is that a concert size?
So the question was, is this a concert size? And the answer is no. It is a tenor. Now, I may have mentioned, or maybe I failed to mention, these are travel ukes. So these are considered travel instruments. So they're a little more compact than a full-size standard. So the body is, in fact, a little bit smaller than your traditional tenor ukulele. It is a little bit smaller, but the scale, the fretboard, is a full tenor scale. So it is a full tenor, and then you'll notice that the headstock is truncated a little bit. The idea is that this is intended to be easy to transport. It comes in a nice little gig bag that you can travel and stuff under your seat or put overhead. I'm sorry? Oh, yeah, and in fact, hence the name Journey ukuleles, because it's intended for travel. I didn't get that at first. I'm a little thick, I guess. But yeah, so I guess I would think of this more as being a super concert. That is more of a concert-sized body with a tenor-sized neck. I have a couple of super concerts, and it's very similar in feel to that. So I hope that answers your question. All right, so let's play this together real slowly. So 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, G, A minor, D7, and stop, stop. Let's play that again. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and G, A minor, D7, G7, diminished, stop. Yeah. And I will point out too, just by way of a little tip, it's pretty self-explanatory. But to get from the A minor to the D7, really easy. I've got my index finger here on the 2nd fret of my G string, so that's my A minor. Let me get my other fingers out of the way. That's my A minor, and then I'm just going to drop down my middle finger on the 2nd fret of the E string. So that gets me my D7. So it's a very simple move. Just like the move from that G7 to the diminished chord is a pretty straightforward move. I hope that makes sense. That diminished chord, by the way, diminished chords are really interesting. Just as a side note, for those of you who are interested, I don't dive too deeply into music theory, but as an interesting point, diminished chords are interesting because they repeat every 4 frets. That is, the notes that appear in any given diminished chord. And technically, for those of you who are real sticklers out there, this is a diminished 7 chord, but by convention, it's perfectly fine just to refer to it as DIM. But the notes that are in this particular diminished chord, G, C sharp, E, and B flat, actually repeat every 4 frets. So if I play it here, and then I go up 4 frets, it's the same notes, just in a different order. And if I go up 4 more frets, it's the same notes in a different order, and up 4 more. So you can play that diminished chord in any of those spots. And it's one of those, sometimes I refer to that chord as being the kind of the old silent movie villain once, like, I can't pay the rent, but you must pay the rent. But I can't pay the rent, but you must pay the rent. So it just goes up like that. And yes, I am using my thumb, by the way, to cover the G string as I play that. You'll notice here I do have my thumb on the G string when I'm playing that diminished chord in other positions. I frequently do bring my thumb into play. I know that is frowned upon. I've been chastised on more than one occasion for bringing my thumb into play on that G string. It's there. Why would I, keep it out of the game? Why should the thumb get to sit out the game? So I do bring it into play when I'm playing certain things like certain G7 shapes or 6 shapes, other things. So anyway, just an interesting side note on the diminished chords that you could, for example, play. Doesn't sound quite right in that context, but you could play that in a different spot. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to play through all the chord progressions that we have done up until this point, because this is the entirety of No Place Like Home for the Holidays. Okay, so basically 5 chord progressions. You've learned the entire song once we go through this. So Light, if you wouldn't mind advancing us through these. So here we go. Actually, this takes us through, make sure that I got this right. Yeah, this takes us from the bridge through the end of the song. Yes. So here we go. 1, 2, a 1, 2, ready, F. F again, and F, D7, and C. Change. G, A minor, D7, and G7. Diminished. Dum, dum, C, F, and back to C. C again. One more time. C, A7, D7, and G7. And C, F, C. Here we go. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, and again, there I very deliberately played just down strums on those split measures where there's more than one chord in a 4-beat pattern. I think it sounds just fine. And if that's easy to do, I think it sounds great. Okay. Any questions? Questions, comments, observations, criticisms? Okay, here we go. Let me grab a quick drink. All right, so what's that?
Marty says you deserve a thumbs up for that thumb trick.
Oh, believe it or not, I got a little chewed out one time. I was at it doesn't matter where, but I was at a ukulele festival, and somebody asked me if I knew how to play diminished, and I did this kind of business where I brought my thumb in, and the person said, no, I need somebody who really knows how to play it. Okay, all right, whatever. Ideally, you would know how to play it both ways, right? That you would know how to play it just with your fingertips, or know how to play it using your thumb, and then depending on the chord that precedes or follows that chord, you would choose the appropriate, grip based on that in order to simplify the movement from one chord to the next. But again, I utilize my thumb in a lot of different spots, and I think it's a good thing to do. I like telling that story just because, it's okay. It's some people have very strong feelings about such things. All right, so you've now learned all of the different chords and the chord progressions for There's No Place Like Home for the Holiday. So now we're going to quickly move into I'll Be Home for Christmas. All right, so we start out with a G. And as we saw earlier, what we're going to do is move to that B flat diminished. And the way we do that is we're just going to, in this case, since we're starting not with a G7, but with a G major, we're just going to slide these two fingers down, our index and middle finger, and that gets us that B flat diminished. Our next chord is an A minor 7, which is the funnest chord of all. There's no fingers involved at all. And then a D7. Okay? So what I'd like to point out to you, or one thing I'd like to just point out, is to notice the relationship between the index finger and the middle finger as we move through these chords. So for example, we have this G, then these two fingers slide down and we lift up the ring finger and we get that diminished chord. Then we have nothing, but I'm going to keep these two fingers in their same kind of relationship because I'm going to bring them down to play that D7 immediately after. And you'll notice that the placement of these strings is analogous in all three of those chords. That is, in each case, the index finger and the middle finger are on the same fret with an open string in between. Okay? So as we go from G to that diminished to open to D7, we're kind of just moving these two fingers around the fretboard. And in fact, the very next chord that follows this D7 is an E minor 7, in which we simply move those two fingers over a string. Again, index and middle are on the same fret with an open string in between. So it's just kind of an interesting move as I pay attention to those two fingers in particular, that we go from this to this to this to this to this. Now that E minor 7 is not, it's on the next slide, but it's there. So let's play this together. So here we go. So it's 4 beats per chord. So 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and G, the diminished, A minor 7, D7. Let's do that again. G, diminished, A minor 7, D7. One more time. I'll be home for Christmas. So I think that kind of, hopefully that kind of gives you a mental model to follow along, that the relationship between these two fingers stays very consistent throughout these movements. As I mentioned, the very next chord that follows, that D7, takes us to this E minor 7, which is just like the D7, but the fingers are moved over one string, so that, again, the relationship in the position between the index and the middle finger stays constant. We've just moved that same thing. Okay, so, and here we have the only other situation, or I shouldn't say it's the only other, another situation where we have 2 and 2. 2 beats on D minor and 2 beats on E7. And then we go to the A minor. So we start on E minor 7, then D minor, E7, A minor for 4, and A minor again for 4. So let's play that together. That E minor 7. So 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and E minor, D minor, E7, A minor, A minor. Yeah, let's do it again. E minor 7, D minor, A minor. One more time. Let's go to E minor 7, D minor, A minor, A minor. Yeah, and again, you may have noticed that at least a couple of those times on that second measure there where we split the D minor and the E7, I just played down strums, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it really sounds fine. I kind of like it. In fact, I might throw that in as I go along playing this song. So perfectly fine to do that. Let's put those two things together. So here you can see the movement from G to that diminished, to the A minor 7, to the D7, and then back over to the E minor 7. So again, that movement. What's interesting is the E7 also has those same two strings covered in the same way, but because we have to get this first fret of the G string, we can't really leave. At least I can't. Maybe somebody more dexterous than I can get their index finger up here on the first fret of the G string. But I would say in this song that D minor to A7 transition is the hardest transition in this song, and it's really the only one that's really very hard at all, as I hope to convince you. So here we go. Let's play this together. So 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and G, the diminished, A minor 7, D7, E minor 7, D minor, E7, A minor, and A minor again. Yeah. Let's do that again one more time. Was there a question?
No, is there?
I love questions. Okay.
Any tips from D minor to E7?
So the question was, are there any tips from D minor to E7? Not really, except to do it. No, I'll tell you what I picture in my mind as I transition from the D minor to E7. I don't know if this will be helpful to you. It's helpful to me because it's what I sort of, I don't know, when I'm thinking about chord transitions and they're not automatic for me because I haven't done them a lot, I try to put in my mind like a little diagram, a little matrix, X and Y axis, and where the dots are and where they're moving to. And here's what I'm doing. So if I'm playing this D minor, first thing I'm thinking about is I'm going to move my index finger from the first fret of the E string to the first fret of the G string. And then the other move is moving the middle and the ring finger to the second fret of the C and E strings. So it's like that to that. Again, I don't know if that's helpful to you, but it's kind of how I picture it in my mind, that it's a lateral move towards my face for the index finger and a lateral move away from my face for the other two fingers to get to that E7. So that probably doesn't rise to the level of a trick or a tip, but it is how I envision it. Okay, so let's play through this chord progression again real quick. So 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and G, the diminished, A minor 7, D7, E minor 7, D minor, E7, A minor, and A minor again. Yeah. Okay. This next chord progression is kind of a variation of what we've seen already, with one exception. So here again, we're going to play that A minor 7, no fingers at all. We're going to go to our D7. We've seen this move before. To our D7. We're going to go to our G major shape, in which case, again, I think the trick or the tip is we move our fingers over and drop the ring finger down to get our G major chord, right? So it's open, D7, shift it over, drop our G. And then to get to that E minor, here's what I recommend doing. Here's what I do. Of course, you can switch from G to this, but I kind of like in this spot, here's my G chord, and then I'm going to take my pinky and put it on the 4th fret of my C string. And there's my E minor. And keeping these other fingers unmoved. Okay? So these four together are like so. A minor 7, D7, G major, E minor. And again, I'm trying to achieve that with maximum economy, no wasted motions whatsoever. So let's play this together. So here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready. A minor 7, D7, and G, E minor. Let's do it again. A minor 7, D7, G, E minor. One more time. A minor 7, D7, G, E minor. Yeah. All right. So let's put that all together. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and G, A minor 7, D7, E minor 7, A minor, change, here we go, A minor 7, D7, G, E minor, and let's jump to A7. A minor 7 and D7. That rounds out the entire first verse of I'll Be Home for Christmas, and actually the half, 3/4 of the next verse as well. So we're almost there. You've seen all these chord changes. This kind of leads us up to, actually this is the intro as well as kind of the refrain of the song at the end, where we kind of work our way backwards. We start off with this C6, which is also the same fingering as an A minor 7, no fingers at all, and we move up to that B flat diminished, and then up to our G. So we're kind of stepping back up. It's the reverse of what we saw earlier of here we're going the other way. And then to an E7. Okay? So let's do that together. So 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and C6. Diminished to G, E7. And then I'm going to skip that real quick. And then we have sort of, yeah, I want to make some time a little bit. Yeah, let's go to here. So this will pick it up where we had the chord progression we just played. I just want to skip a little bit of the repetition since I know we're getting short on time. There were just so many different chord progressions here. I did want to have a chance to show you them all. So let's go through this. We've actually played all of these before except the very, very last couple. But we'll take a look at those when we get there. So here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, C6. E flat diminished, G, E7. Let's go to A7, and then A minor, 7, D7, G. And then change, A7, A minor, 7, D7, G. C minor. So let's talk about what we're doing there. So we're going to this A7. And then we do, this is a kind of a common motif, this A minor 7 to D7, G. So what we're doing here is kind of the ending of the song. If only in my dream, C minor, and back to G. And then that last little bit is, it's kind of G diminished, G6. And basically, it's the same chord shape as the E minor 7. It's just in this context, it's a G6 because it's actually substituting for the G major. But again, it's kind of a nice little snappy, swingy ending. Okay, so let's play that again. So here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, A7. A minor, D7, and G. C minor, and G. 2, 3, 4. Okay? So we've been through the whole song, actually both songs of the medley. I hope that all made sense. Was there a question?
Back to the D minor, E7.
Yes.
Is it okay to play down, down, up on the D minor and up, down, up on the E7?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Down, 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 up.
Down, down, up.
Down, up on the E7.
Yes. I'm not going to repeat the question, but whoever asked that question, yes, you can do that. You can certainly do that. Helen. Hi, Helen. All right. So let's roll back to the beginning and play these songs through. And if it's okay with you, we'll just we'll do it at a slightly slower tempo than I do in my demo. Oh, there's a couple of things. So again, you'll notice in the demo, the tab is in the song sheet. The link to that song sheet is in the description of this video. But there's a little kind of a riff that I created that. Anyway, we're not going to cover it during this tutorial, but it is there. And it will be in a play-along version of the demo that'll have all the tab laid out. So hopefully that will be helpful to you. The other thing I wanted to point out is that there actually is, I didn't include it, it's not very well known, but there actually is an intro to I'll Be Home for Christmas. It's only 2 lines. I'll play it for you real quick. I don't do it in this arrangement, but it's this really pretty thing of, it introduces several more chords, which is one of the reasons why I didn't want to include it. But it's something like this. I'm dreaming tonight of a place I love, even more than I usually do. And although I know it's a long road back, I promise you I'll be home. So, and it goes on from there. It's really lovely. But I didn't think it really, I didn't want to bring in more complexity and more chords. So, but I did want to share that with you because it is so pretty. All right, so let's go through the song. Here we go, and I hope you all will join in. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and a G, E7, A7, A proudly gaze. For the holidays, you can't be home, sweet home. I met a man who lives in Tennessee, and he was heading for Pennsylvania and some homemade pumpkin pie. From Pennsylvania, folks are traveling down to Dixie's sunny shore. From Atlantic to Pacific, gee, the traffic is terrific. Oh, there's no place like home for the holidays. 'Cause no matter how far away you roam, if you want to be happy in a million ways, for the holidays you can't be home, sweet home. For the holidays you can't be home, sweet home. I'll be home for Christmas. You can plan on me. I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dreams, if only in my dreams. Yeah. Woohoo. Yeah. Yes, I need a drink. So the question for you is, should we go through this song one more time? I would like to. Even if you don't want to, after we're over, I'll play it again on my own. But I hope you will want to go through it again. So please just mention in the chat if you'd like to go through this song one more time. I think it's a lot of fun. This year, I wish we were together as a group, but we will do this together as a group when we do Christmas sing-alongs in the future.
We got one vote so far.
One vote.
So there's a lot.
While we're waiting to do that, let me just take care of a couple of announcements real quickly. Please say thank you to Jen for all the many things that she does to make these meetings and everything else go smoothly. I could not begin to enumerate all the different things Jen does in order to help the Austin Ukulele Society function together properly as a unit. So please do give her a shout out in the chat, and many thanks to her for all that she does. Please consider our new Austin Ukulele Society t-shirts, as you see displayed here. This is our new design for the coming year, just in time for the holiday season. Our Austin sending ukulele vibes and ukulele joy out to the world. So consider purchasing this. You can send a note to our Gmail at austinukes@gmail, or you can go to austinukulelesociety.com. There is a contact us page, and you can send us a note there to let us know that you're interested in a t-shirt. We just had them printed. These are literally hot off the press. So we do have a fresh stock of them, but they're not unlimited. So if you want them for your holiday friends, please do give us a shout out to get these. Please do consider taking a selfie of yourself watching the live stream, or just a picture of yourself with your ukulele, or your friends if they are with you, and family members. If you want to wear your Christmas hat or other Christmas garb, please do. If you could get those selfies to us by this Saturday, which is the 13th, by the end of the day on, say, Saturday or early Sunday, the 14th at the latest, that gives us time to gather them all together so that we can get them posted on Monday. So please do consider doing that. think about participating in the group video project for this medley in time for Christmas, wearing your Santa hat, wearing your elf ears, your reindeer antlers, whatever you've got. Consider joining in on the group video. And again, you can send a note to austinukes@gmail.com. Let us know you're interested in joining in. A week from today, you will get the information you need to be able to do that. And stay tuned, because very shortly, in about 5 or 6 minutes, we're going to have the world premiere of the group video for last month's featured song, Fleetwood Mac's Rhiannon, which Marty Porter and Paul Butler have just done an awesome job, and my hat's off to all the participants. It's beautiful. I kind of got choked up a little bit when I was listening to it. It's really good. So stick around for that. A reminder about the Journey instruments. So this is a promo code at journeyinstruments.com if you would like to get a Journey ukulele or gig bag of your very own. With this promo code, from today until the 30th of November, you will get a 40% discount on ukuleles and gig bags. So please do check that out. If you have questions about this instrument that I'm playing, send us a note at Austin Ukes, and I'll try to answer it if I can. But again, Joey and the folks at Journey have been very nice to let me hang on to this, and I have used it very often over the past year. So please do consider that. And again, a reminder, our next meeting will be virtual 4 weeks from tonight, December 9th. We'll be doing a holiday sing-along of all of our different Christmas and holiday songs that we've done since over the last decade. Our first resuming live in-person meetings will happen in January on the second Thursday, which is January 13th. And there will be another virtual event for you folks not in the Austin area early next year on a date to be decided. But I do want to encourage you, do subscribe to our channel, follow our Facebook page. That's where you will find out when our next virtual meeting in the new year will be. Also, if you like this video, consider giving it a like. Click that subscribe button, that like button, all the buttons of that nature. So, what is the verdict? Are we going to play it again? All right, cool. I love it. I seem a little bit out of focus. Let me get the autofocus. All right, here we go. All right. Thank you so much for joining in. I look forward to this day every single month and the run-up to it, getting ready for it. So, here we go. Light, if you will take over, and we're just going to jump in on the strumming. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and diminished to the G, E7, A7, A minor 7, D7, and G. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, sing. I'll be home for Christmas. You can plan on me. Please have snow or mistletoe and presents on the tree. Christmas Eve will find me where the love light gleams. I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dreams. Oh, there's no place like home for the holidays, 'cause no matter how far away you roam, if you pine for the sunshine of a friendly gaze, for the holidays you can't be home sweet home. I met a man who lives in Tennessee, and he was heading for Pennsylvania and some homemade folks are traveling down to Dixie's sunny shore. From Atlantic to Pacific, gee, the traffic is terrific. Oh, there's no place like home for the holidays, 'cause no matter how far away you roam, if you want to be happy in a million ways, for the holidays you can't be home sweet home. For the holidays you can't be home sweet home. I'll be home for Christmas. You can plan on me. I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dreams, if only in my dreams. Yeah, nicely done. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for sticking with me through the end of that song. I think it's a lot of fun, and I hope you'll consider joining in on our group video on that song. So once again, we have come a little bit late, but we've come to the end of our time together. And as we have done for all of our meetings since our first one back in January of 2011, we always, before we head out on the road again, we play On the Road Again, our native son Willie Nelson's composition. So thank you so much for joining tonight, especially for our first-timers. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll think about coming back again. Thank you so much for joining in. I really appreciate it. Thank you to Jen. Thank you to Lyda for running the slides. Thanks so much. I love playing ukulele. I love it more when I get to play it with folks like you who love it too. So thank you so much. Here we go. In this song, pretty much like our warm-up song, we start on C. We're going to use the same strum that we just used on our Christmas medley. So we'll strum on C, and then I'll count us in. So Lyda, if you want to take over the slides. Here we go. C. Here we go. And 1, 2, 3. On the road again. Just can't wait to get on the road again. The life I love is making music with my friends, and I can't wait to get on the road again. On the road again. Going places that I've never been. Seeing things that I may never see again. And I can't wait to get on the road again. On the road again. Like a band of gypsies we go down the highway. We're the best of friends, insisting that the world keep turning our way. And our way is on the road again. I just can't wait to get on the road again. Life I love is making music with my friends, and I can't wait to get on the road again. And I can't wait. And I can't wait to get on the road again. One more time. I can't wait to get on the road again. Good night, everyone, and stay tuned for the world premiere of the Austin Ukulele Society's group video, Rhiannon. See you next time. One, two, 1, 2, ready, and.
too. Here comes the sun. Doo-doo-doo.
One, two, 1, 2, ready, and. Daniel is traveling tonight on a plane. I can see the red tail lights heading for Spain. Oh, and I can see Daniel waving goodbye. God, it looks like Daniel must see the clouds in my eyes. They say Spain is pretty, though I've never been. Daniel says it's the best place he's ever seen. Oh, and he should know he's been there enough. Lord, I miss Daniel. Oh, I miss him so much. Oh, Daniel, my brother, you are older than me. Do you still feel the pain of the scars that won't heal, your eyes have died, but you see more than I. Daniel, you're a star in the face of the sky. Daniel, my brother, you are older than me. Do you still feel the pain of the scars that won't heal? Your eyes have died, but you see more than I. Daniel, you're a star in the face of the sky. Daniel is traveling tonight on a plane. I can see the red tail lights heading for Spain. Oh, and I can see Daniel waving goodbye. God, it looks like Daniel